midway. It was with this same presidential running mate that he ran in 2023 and won, under very difficult circumstances that time. With all the fears that were associated with the Muslim ticket, with some of the grievances that Nigerians had against some of the policies of the previous administration and all whatnot, under such murky waters, with Kashim Shettima, Nigerians still voted for Tinubu. So at that time, you could say that the only thing that Tinubu had was his track record as a former governor of Lagos State and his strong vision for a renewed Nigeria. At that time, that was all you could say he had to present. And on the strength of that vision, on the strength of his track record, Nigerians opted for him and they gave him a chance. So today, 3 years down the line, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, one, has proven the skeptics wrong. Those who thought that Nigeria was going to be Islamized simply because the president is a Muslim and his deputy or vice is also a Muslim have been put to shame. Today, some of those people, including myself, are the ones that are saying President Bola Ahmed Tinubu carry go. Because he has proven that he is a president for all. That under his leadership, Nigeria is one constituency. Nigeria is not north or south. Nigeria is not Christian or Muslim. Because it is under this administration that a lot of minority groups, Christian groups, that felt shortchanged, that felt marginalized over the years, are finding true expression. And without apologies, I would say that what the people of Southern Kaduna passed through in the hands of the administration that preceded this one, whether at the federal or at the state level, that is from 2015 to 2023, is better imagined. It's not something that one should even recall or even say, because the people were treated basically as third-class citizens of Kaduna State or first-class citizens, third-class citizens of this country. No development, no inclusion in appointments, and what have you. But from the word go, when this president came on board, he appointed a patriot, a proud son of Southern Kaduna, as the chief of defense staff, against the wishes of some of the people who supported the Muslim ticket as an agenda to consolidate their oppression and exclusion and exploitation of certain groups in this country. He shocked them. He gave General Christopher Musa the chief of defense staff of this country. And that sent a very strong message to the middle belt of Nigeria, to the Christian community in Nigeria, and that appointment was widely applauded all over the country. People were happy, and the man distinguished himself. He did well. He gave his best for this country. And that was why when the president rejigged the security architecture by replacing him with some other persons, there was nationwide outcry and condemnation. And because the president is a listening president, he reappointed him as Minister of Defense. So today, I can tell you the choice of Kashim Shettima shows clearly that Tinubu knows what he is doing. And let me do a small analysis for you that we had last night with somebody. If you look at northern Nigeria today, then you begin to ask the question, who is that politician that President Tinubu would have taken that would deliver more votes for him to consolidate his grip of the southern part of this country other than Kashim Shettima? Perhaps, in my personal opinion, one person that could have done it better would have been our inclusive and hardworking governor of Kaduna State. But of course, you know, if that had happened, Nigeria would have gained, but Kaduna State would have lost. So, you see, with what has happened, it's a win-win for us in Kaduna. Because there is still time. We hope that with what Ubasani is doing by 2027, his own time will come. So, basically, you look at it today, by giving Kashim Shettima, you can be rest assured that Borno is in the kitty. Taraba is in the kitty. Gombe in the kitty. Even Yobe, because in Yobe, you know that there is serious crisis in the ADC. I forgot the name of this man who refused to allow primary elections to take place in the ADC and just decided to announce certain people and say to the others, go to hell. So today, you know that Yobe, with a sitting governor of the APC, and the fact that the opposition in Yobe is nothing to write home about, you know that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu would win the Northeast. Even in Bauchi, you find out that, of course, the governor of Bauchi State almost joined the APC, if not for the issue of succession, who would produce the governorship candidate in the APC. That is why he refused to join. But there is hardly any governor in Nigeria today that does not believe in the renewed hope agenda of President Tinubu, that will not repay the president for the massive support that he gives them in terms of improved revenue, timely releases, grants, and what have you, to help them perform in their respective states. No governor in his right senses would want to risk a fresh start when he has a president that is collaborating with him, irrespective of political party, to ensure that they deliver security, they deliver good governance in their respective states. So, Oloye, we are happy. We in the APC, we are happy. And I want to congratulate His Excellency, Senator Kashim Shettima, on his emergence as President Tinubu's running mate yet again. Yes, I believe that
Edward John,
with the two at the helm, Nigeria will surely reap the dividends of the massive investments that this government have been making.
Edward John, we must still talk about balance, because again, well, good for APC, but again, the balance about the countries that you just said, that it's not a Christian country, it's not a Muslim country, but again, the majority are Christians and Muslims. So creating the balance, that has also, given some sour grapes in the mouth, that there is still no balance, talking about Nigeria as, state for all.
The answer is simple. When there was balance between 2015 and 2023, was there balance in appointments? Was there balance in developmental projects? Was there balance in progress? So Nigerians have come to understand the reality, and that is why they are with this president. I say nearly all the skeptics, except those who have been blinded by loyalty to their political parties, but in their closet they are hailing this president, because all the fears that people had. Why are people afraid of the Muslim ticket? It is because of imbalance in the sharing of the national cake. That is just it. I'll give you an example. The vice president played a critical role, for example, in some of the projects that happened in southern Kaduna. Even the news about the university and the Federal Medical Center, he was the one who broke the news when he came on a condolence visit in Ikulu, in my local government. That was where he said he discussed with the president based on the request from our senator and certain leaders from southern Kaduna, and the president has approved it. So what is before Nigerians is not the tribe or the religion of the president or the tribe or the religion of the vice president. What is much more important is what the president or the vice president is able to use their office to do for the people of this country. And that is why I said, looking at what President Tinubu did from the onset, don't forget, even FCT, there has been issues before now. They say a Christian has never been minister of FCT under civilian regime. President Tinubu silenced every doubter. It is possible. And when Wike was appointed the minister of FCT, there were resentments from certain merchants of religious crisis to say, why him? Why a Christian in Abuja? The president closed his ears, and at every given opportunity, he has always shown his support for Wike. And looking at what Wike is doing in the FCT, will you not justify his appointment as a minister of the FCT? The indigenous people of the FCT have never had it this good. Development everywhere in Abuja. To the credit of who? Mr. President, who is the appointer of the minister. So what we are talking about in 2027 is that idea, if you want to demarcate this government, this party, on the premise of a Muslim ticket, you are wasting your time. It will not work. Nobody will buy it. I can assure you, nobody will buy it. The area where this idea of Muslim ticket was strongest was the Middle Belt, ahead of 2027, because the Middle Belt nationalities are the most affected by exclusion, by marginalization, by underdevelopment, by exploitation, and everything negative that you can associate to misgovernance over the years, especially our recent past. So they were the people who feared this Muslim ticket the most. But under this administration, look at what is happening. The national chairman of the APC is from Plateau State. Who would have thought that would never have been possible between 2015 and 2023? A Christian from Plateau State? It wouldn't have worked. Today it is a reality. So the people of Plateau are holding an important position in the national arrangement of this country, because the leader of the ruling party or the chairman of the ruling party is not a small person. It's an enviable position. Professor Nentawe is there. So what are you going to tell the people of Plateau? That Nentawe is a Muslim? Or that now they are enjoying it, they are feeling included. You go and tell them that, okay, bring an arrangement that will take us back to Egypt. Who will that make sense to? Definitely nobody. Look at what is happening in Benue. The secretary to the government of the federation is from Benue. What is Akume's religion? Akume is a Christian. So what are you going to tell the people of Benue? That they should jettison that position that is benefiting their people and is benefiting this country, is benefiting Christians, is benefiting Muslims, is benefiting everybody? They won't buy it. They won't buy it. So I can go on and on. Or is it in Southern Kaduna that we never had any federal appointment under the previous administration? We had CDS, now we have a minister, we have a permanent commissioner in the federal character, we have the ZMD of the free oil zone, free whatever. Is it now we have the DG of mining cadastre? Oh, you want us to go back to Egypt? Those years of exclusion, using one, I don't want to use the word stupid, Muslim gimmick. Nobody will buy it. I can tell you. Look, Oloye, you are an experienced man in this job. call people in southern Kaduna. Don't even travel. Go to Romi here with what Senator Obasani is doing. Go there and say you want to go and tell them anything other than APC. You have to be careful. They won't buy it. Is it Sabon-Tasha? You go there, you want to go and tell them something. Is it Kachia? Go and see what the university has done to Kachia and the neighboring local governments. How landed properties are just skyrocketing, business opportunities have opened. Or is it Kafanchan, where we have the Federal Medical Center? Or Manchok, where we have the other campus of the University of Applied Sciences? Is it Gwantu, where the dual carriage from Kefi to Jos, they've started that stretch, they've started work there? Where? Tell me. Where are you going to campaign? On what? Muslim ticket? Look, it is outdated. It will not work. Nobody will buy it. Tinubu is repositioning this country. Tinubu is fixing the mess. And Tinubu is silencing the doubters. And to make things even more beautiful, Governor Obasani is complementing those efforts of Mr. President that is in Kaduna by wiping the tears of the people of this state. In the last 3 years plus now, nobody has woken up with the fear that by 4 a.m., between 2015 and 2023, if you wake up and you didn't hear the sound of bulldozer in your gate or in your street, you wake up and say, God, thank God. So you'll be thinking, tomorrow, is it my turn? Are they coming to demolish my house? Are they coming to demolish my shop? Those fears, the people of Goningora, for 8 years, they live under fear that they could be relocated, that community could be demolished. Baji Villa, the same thing. In Zaria, Constitution Road, in virtually every part of Kaduna metropolis, nobody had peace for 8 years because a demolisher in chief was in charge of the administration of Kaduna State. Today, Governor Obasani has turned this state, around. Everybody has peace. Security has been improved. Healthcare improved. Road infrastructure improved. Name them. So, in so many other states, that is what the APC governments are doing. So, I want to advise Atiku Abubakar, like Malam Nasiru El-Rufai advised him some years back, let him not put in too much money into this campaign. Domin bayan zaɓe a samu na chapane. Let him not put in, because Nigerians have decided, and I'm sure that the Tinubu Shetima ticket will deliver victory for the APC once again and victory for the people of this country.
The program is Perspective. This morning, it's coming to you on Invicta 98.9. My guest this morning, it was John AUTA, putting his thoughts on developing stories as we see them dropping in Nigeria. We'll come back after this commercial break.
We'll be right back after this quick commercial break.
Invicta FM.
Hasken rana in ya fito, sabuwar rana ta bayyana. Ga uniform an shirya mana, kuma ga mu akan hanyar zuwa. Milo a cikin kofi, mai ɗumi ga inganci. An yi shi da malta, Milo. An yi shi da madara, Milo. An sa mishi koko, Milo. Yanda dai ya kamata, Milo. Mama ta ce in shanye.
Oh yeah, shoppers, make una hear correct gist. Maggi chicken flavor promo don land o.
Buy Maggi chicken flavor 50 double cubes pack and get 10 extra cubes free.
Yes o, and if you buy small 10 double cubes pack, you go get 4 cubes free.
Na more rich chicken taste, more enjoyment, and more value for your money.
Rush go your nearest shop now and ask for Maggi chicken flavor promo pack before e finish. Offer valid while stocks last. Me and Maggi, so good together.
get why we dey plan and pray for our children every day.
E get why.
E get why we dey get up to go hustle every day.
E get why.
And e get why Nigerians trust M&B paracetamol, the red one, every day.
E get why.
E dey show pain red card kia, so we fit to face life without pains. Therefore, next time pain show him wawa face, knock am with M&B paracetamol, the red one.
E get why.
M&B paracetamol, the red one na for you and your family, and e dey clear pain, small cold and fever one hand. If your symptoms no clear after 2 days, go see doctor. M&B paracetamol go give you quick relief one time.
Lokacin jin daɗi sai Kivo Krima.
Idan na sha ko lokacin sha dari sai Kivo.
Ina kwana Oni and Banana Connect.
Hello 7790 yawa kawata ta ce allura za ta tafi har kwakwalwata shin ga hakan gaskiya ne?
Honey and Banana Connect.
To ina kasuwa sai yar uwar matar makwabcina ta ce matar da ke amfani da maganin tazaran haihuwa mazajensu za su daina son su.
Honey and Banana Connect.
Ni ce kuma goggota ta ce idan na bayar da tazaran haihuwa tsakanin yarana mutane za su yi tunani akwai wata matsala a aure na. Shin gaskiya ne?
Honey and Banana Connect na nan don duka tambayoyinku. Kira 7790 a kowane lokaci don tattauna da kwararun kan tazaran haihuwa da lafiyar jami'i. Kyauta ne a asirci kuma babu tsangwama. Kira 7790 ko turo sakon WhatsApp ta 09097133400 a yau.
Honey and Banana Connect ku bi wanda ya san hanya.
Ku yi tunanin gida inda uwa ke da lokacin karanta wa ɗanta littafi yayin da wani yaron kuma yake wasan gina gida a gefenta. Babu hantara, babu gaggawa, sai zunzurutun soyayya da ta ninku sakamakon samun lokaci. Wannan shine damar da tazarar haihuwa ke bayarwa, wato dama ta gani da sauraro. Kuma a irin wannan yanayi ne yara suke bunƙasa.
Ziyarci cibiyar lafiya mafi kusa domin farawa ko a kira lambar waya 222 wannan sako ne daga ma'aikatar lafiya tare da tallafin gamayyar kungiyoyin aida pronet da fem.
iyali uba ya'ya da ma'uwa.
Tabdi, wato a duk lokacin da muka haɗu a dandalin tattaunawar iyalinmu sai an samu matsala. Abun burgewa ma zan dafa wani abu da duk za su amincewa. Wato da fadukan shinkafa na musamman tare da magi.
An sarrafa magista daga tataccen waken soya, albasa, kayan yajin armashi tare da kanamfari.
Lokacin cin abinci a shiga cikin lallama ko samkar a shigo.
Magista sanya duk abinci da lokacinsu su kasance na musamman da ba za a iya mantawa ba.
Ai wasu mutanen ba san dalilin da yasa data suke karewa ba, amma bari ne muku bayani. Kun san idan mai waya na bacci wayan na yin wasu abubuwa da bai sani ba? Idan har hakan ya faru? A wannan sa'in waya ke adana bayanai a cloud backup a sa'in da bacin ke ƙara nisa. Sai ta ci gaba da sabunta manhajojin da ke kanta ko da ba a amfani da ita. Haba mai gida ai ka san dole in san abin da ke faruwa a intanet.
A sha datar da na sanya ta ƙare.
Jas, ba na gaya muku ba?
Ka kula kada wayarka ta kwashe maka data da auto update. Ka rufe manhajojin da baka aiki da su. Ka rufe tabs ɗin da baka amfani da su a duk lokacin da datar ka take a kunne.
A'a, me ya zafi? Ni fa bayani ne kawai nawa. Ka kula da datar ka don kar waya ta cinye.
More datar ka kuma leave it 100.
Milk and rich in
Vence 3-in-1 chocolate. Enjoy instant goodness.
Perceptions could change. Opinions can be formed with more and accurate information. Get all sides, views, and opinions on topical issues. Have your say on Perspectives. With Toyin Alabi at 9 a.m. Mondays to Fridays on Invicta 98.9 FM. Perspectives. All sides, all views, all individuals are welcome.
Welcome back. We're still with the program Perspectives this morning, and my guest, Edward John AUTA, who is a senior special assistant to the governor of the state on industrial development and training. And we're talking about developing stories in Nigeria and putting thoughts on where we are with it today. Another good news that has dropped over the week, and that's from last week and 2 ago, that the children of Oriri school, talking about the students or pupils of the school and their teachers, were, released by the abductors. And that's talking about their kidnappers. And this was good news to all Nigerians that these children are safely back home with their parents now. And Nigerians are also calling for others in captivity should also, be released to go home. This is an issue that Nigeria is grappling with now, insecurity. And of course, our men, our personnel, military and otherwise are, showing their might and strength and going into the forest. And of course, we see them and all they are doing. The Air Force also in part of it. The military as a whole is all on the, these abductors. And of course, no hiding place for them as it is. What all of these will do and can do for this administration in terms of their return in 2027, where are your thoughts here too?
Well, first and foremost, I would want to say a big congratulations to the victims, because this must have taken a great toll on their lives. Being in captivity for such a long period of time is not something that one should wish even his enemies. So we congratulate them on their safe return back home, and then we pray for the repose of some of them who lost their lives as a result of that incident, and all other Nigerians who have died from one form of violent crime or the other. We pray for the repose of their soul and pray that their blood, their innocent blood, will restore peace to this country. Secondly, we also want to congratulate the Nigerian security agencies for demonstrating once again that they mean well for this country and that they can put in their best to secure Nigerians. I've always said security to the ordinary man is not measured by how many incidents of security breaches have been prevented. Every day you sleep and wake up, you don't know how many attacks have been foiled, you don't know how many criminals have been arrested, you don't know how many operations have been intercepted. Those ones are not reported, so we don't know. So I know that our men of the security agencies are doing a lot. They are doing a great deal for the people of Nigeria. So most of the time it is only when the criminals succeed that we get to talk, and all of that. But believe you me, these people are working. They are putting their best. And soldiers and officers of the security agencies are paying the price with their lives just so that we can live, so that we can even enjoy what we are not satisfied with. So they are doing a great deal. So I congratulate them. I salute them. And I want to encourage them to continue to put in their best to see that. Like you said, there are still people that are still in captivity. In Kaduna, where people in Ariko community and some other communities around Kachia that are still in captivity. And we know that the Nigerian security agencies are not sleeping. Governor Obasani is not sleeping. The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is not sleeping. The President has vowed that so long he remains the President of this country, every rescued victim every kidnapped victim will be rescued, and every criminal will be brought to justice. And Governor Obasani has re-echoed that position. In a recent TV interview, he made it clear that no terrorist, no bandit deserve to live, and that the government is committed to seeing that Kaduna State is rid completely of the activities of bandits and terrorists and other criminals. And we know that the governor means it because the results are there for all to see. Kaduna State may not be where it wants to be in terms of security, but it has left where it was by million miles. We are no longer where we were as of 2023. We've left that place, and then kudos to the president. So, for providing the enabling environment for our security agencies and governors to collaborate to see that Nigerians are protected and those that are in captivity are released. And what is quite unfortunate is some of the commentaries, how some members of the opposition party are trying to politicize insecurity. Even when I was in the opposition, I have always written that I will never seek any political advantage from the blood and suffering of Nigerians. God forbid that I should do that. When these people were abducted, people politicize it, all manner of things, trying to use it as a weapon for 2027. Now that they have been released, some people, unfortunately, are beginning to say all manner of things like this thing was stage managed and all of that. Which president will stage manage kidnapping? What benefit will the president get from it? When these people were kidnapped, look at the way the government was bashed. So which president would do that? To go and organize something that will, create bad blood, that will dent the image of its own administration. So I want to call on Nigerians to measure their words. Please, at this point in time, whether you are in the opposition or in the ruling party, whether you have ambition or you are a supporter of a politician's ambition, what we need at this point is unity. We need to unite in prayers. We need to unite in support for the government and for the security agencies, because security has no political party. It has no tribe. Some communities in the south that thought before now that banditry and kidnapping was a northern thing, and they could talk rubbish, they could laugh at the northern people. Today, what is happening, even though it is regrettable, but the lesson is that these criminals, they don't have boundaries, they don't know tribe, they don't know region, they don't know anything. They can strike anywhere. So we have to unite as a people when the issue of security is concerned. No party. When I was in the PDP, I used to tell people then that I wish the APC government well in its effort to secure Kaduna State and Nigeria. You know why? Because I would prefer that my party should inherit a stable country than to inherit a country that is in ruins, to inherit a country that is in crisis. So when you come, instead of focusing on governance, you look at the way this government is distracted every day because of this issue of insecurity. So Nigerians should come together and support the military to record the kind of success that was recorded in Orire. And I can tell you, I give kudos to those patriotic Nigerians who are celebrating the return of these people. Not just because they are Orire people or Ogun people, but because they are Nigerians and because they are human beings. So all of us were happy for them now that they have been reunited with their families. We hope that the Oyo State government will walk its talk, ensure that these people are given all the necessary support that will help them come out of this traumatic experience, so that they can start life all over again. No child, no parent, no sibling, nobody should be made to pass through what these people and their relations and their state had to pass through. So congratulations to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because he's the number one person. He's the father of the nation. I always tell people, I am more connected, I'm more related to President Tinubu than Sheyi. Because the relationship between Sheyi Tinubu and President Tinubu is father and son. Is by birth. My relationship with the president is a social contract. I have a contractual relationship with him. We are bound by a social contract for him to deliver certain, things, a good life to me and to all Nigerians. So we are happy. He's our father. He's the father of the nation. So we are happy for the president, and he has demonstrated once again that he means everything that he says. He said he will rescue them, and they have been rescued. So in every other places where these challenges persist, it is a pointer to the fact that your own turn will come, your own salvation is coming. President Tinubu is not sleeping. The security agencies are also not sleeping. They will ensure that they rescue everybody. And if you look at the nature of the operation, the details around the operation, it is so beautiful. How the Nigerian military was able, to intercept the communication of these terrorists, how they were able to isolate their family members, and then they went ahead to arrest their family members and to say, okay, look, you have our people in the bush, you also have your own people in our own hands. And then they were also able to identify the supply chain to these bandits, those that are supplying them fuel, the markets that supply them food and some other items. So they were able to identify and isolate this community, put curfew on this community, break their transportation network and what have you, and put the terrorists in a very difficult situation. And then those people were terrorists. They were not like kidnappers. They were terrorists because they were not asking for money. They were asking that some of their commanders that have been apprehended by the security agencies be released, asking for a swap deal. But the Nigerian military, under the leadership of President Tinubu, said, no, we will not negotiate with terrorists. And then they did what they did. There was massive collaboration among the security agencies in this country, and they were able to record that success. Unfortunately, I was reading yesterday, we lost a lieutenant. He paid the ultimate price from that operation. May his gentle soul rest in perfect peace. Our condolences to his family. These kind of cases are there, so that's why it's not fair for people to just sit down somewhere in a beer parlor and begin to insult, the officers and men of the security agencies. They are putting their best. So we hope to see a replication of this kind of hyper-tech operation. The other last week, there was news of hundreds of banditry terrorists that were neutralized around the Zamfara-Sokoto axis. And then we learned that some of them were on the run. They got to Niger, and the Nigerian forces also struck. So it has been a tough week for terrorists in Nigeria. And we hope that it's only going to get tougher and tougher and tougher until everybody that is in activity is rescued, and until every community, every forest is rid of bandits and terrorists, and we trust our president, we know that he will do it. And we call all governors to emulate the Kaduna governor by collaborating effectively with Mr. President, by providing the enabling environment for these, initiatives to yield the desired results.
Edward, the talk now, again, apart from the ones that we're seeing, and is again about 2027. And that's the big talk in Nigeria now. Opposition does not wants to take out the ruling party, and the ruling party, as it is, wants to maintain status quo. That's by staying in power until his term, would elapse in 2031. So we have that, but I want to ask you this question, and that's about the Nigerian people. 2027, Nigerians will be going to the polls. My question now would be, what will Nigerians be thinking and be having in mind when they go to the polls? Is it about all the pains that they made to go through? But because Nigerians were in pains, all through the time of this administration, excruciating pains that some Nigerians will say, never have we had it like this. And some of them, like you said, Nigerians were saying, return to Egypt, military should come back. We had all of that. And it's about the policies of this administration. Removal of fuel subsidy, the economy as it is, not growing as Nigerians will go, taking its toll on Nigerians, and disorganized families and everything. So the president has come with renewed hope, policy, and all of that, and building routes, coastal routes from Calabar to Lagos, Lagos to Sokoto, and of course all of what we're seeing, that the international communities are coming out in support of this administration. IMF is saying that the country is doing well. World Bank is saying the country is doing well. But we're not seeing it in the people. And so, why would the people want this administration back in 2027?
You see, I've always said I'm an economic historian. And genuine reforms must come with pains. I think a lot of Nigerians do not have an idea of the economy that this president inherited. Or a lot of Nigerians want to underrate the precarious security situation that this administration inherited. Please, let's not deceive ourselves. We knew where we are coming from. I don't think Nigerians should forget in a hurry how the previous administration was borrowing and even allegedly printing trillions of naira notes to pay subsidy and salaries. Can a nation survive on such a trajectory? That we should just be printing money like the Idi Amin era. We just call CBN governor and say, go and print 10 trillion so that 20 trillion so that we can fund the budget. Can Nigeria survive on such a trajectory? Or that we should be borrowing money to come and finance subsidy? Look, that was the quantum of problem. And that is why we must be grateful to God for giving us such a courageous leader like President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the time that he came. People were trying to fault him for saying subsidy is gone on the day of his inauguration. He had two dilemmas. Let me tell you one. Late President Buhari had set a trap for him. In the 2023 budget, by 1st July, subsidy was to elapse by 30th June. So from 1st July, there was no budgetary provision for the payment of subsidy. That is one. And then two, if Tinubu had stayed in office for 2 days without making that declaration, politics would set in. Pressure here and there. And the removal of the subsidy would have been difficult. No budgetary provision for it. And no money, no resources to fund it, to finance it, and what have you. So Tinubu saw it all because he came prepared on the day of his inauguration. He just said subsidy is gone. And we thank God that it was gone for good. And funny enough, the same people, Atiku, Obi and Co., who all during their campaign said if they become president, they will remove fuel subsidy. The same people are now trying to use that same policy that they promised Nigerians to campaign against the president. So, removing fuel subsidy does not mean that all the problems of Nigeria were going to be fixed automatically. But it was going to lay the foundation. It was a reform policy that was going to lay the foundation for a lot of things that will happen across multiple sectors of the economy. 2, like I said, I'm not a member of the Nigerian military, but where President Tinubu met this country in terms of security, count from 2023 to date, the number of bandit and terrorist commanders that have been either neutralized or arrested in 3 years, they are more than triple the number of commanders that were neutralized or arrested in the 8 years of the previous administration. So will you say we are not making progress? We are making progress. What was the price of rice under the previous administration of a bag of rice or maize or beans, food crops? And how much were we getting those things? And how much are they now? So Nigerians must exercise a bit of patience. In the next few months and years, the results of some of those reforms will begin to be very evident. And that is why a lot of people who understand economics will tell you it is better for us to re-elect President Tinubu so that he can consolidate on the foundations that he has laid, instead of risking a fresh start. If you bring a new president, he will spend the first 6 months first trying to evaluate the policies of this administration. Which one should I sustain? Which one should I discard? And what have you? And before you know it, 1 year would have been gone without any progress. But Nigerians must put their trust in President Tinubu, because in terms of infrastructure, you can see that there is a complete political will to transform the infrastructure of this country. Because without infrastructure, industrialization and commerce and agriculture will not be possible. So, which should he do? If he comes today and he begins to inject too much money in building industries and what have you, and the infrastructure that is needed to provide oxygen for the industrialization is not there, how will the policy succeed? And that is what previous administrations have been doing. So you mentioned some of them, the Lagos-Calabar coastal highway. You talk about now he's starting from Kefi, the road will be dualized up to Gombe and Yola. You talk about the Abuja, Kaduna, Kano. You talk about the Zaria, Funtua, Katsina. The first phase has even been completed. The dualization up to Zamfara, Funtua, Zamfara, axis. The first phase has been completed. So Tinubu is laying the foundation for industrialization, for commerce, for agriculture, and what have you. These reforms will take a bit of time. When we are done with that phase, we can now move to the next phase. Look at what the president has done with Ajaokuta. Will you say that it is a bad policy? If Ajaokuta is on its feet, it is going to trigger economic development in so many areas. So Nigerians should be patient with Mr. President. The foundation that the president has laid is enough to convince every patriot, every citizen who means well for this country, to give the president a second chance, a second term, so that we all can reap the benefits of the huge investment that he's making in security, in infrastructure, in power, in steel, in mining, and what have you. He has laid the foundation in his first 3 years in office. What we need to do now is to wait to start reaping the benefits, the fruits of such gigantic investments.
Top of the hour, 10 o'clock, we'll take the news brief. Before then, we hit some commercials.
Keep it locked, keep it loud. Turn your radios up. 98.9.
Tabdi. Wato a duk lokacin da muka haɗu a dandalin tattaunawar iyalinmu sai an samu matsala. Abun burgewa ma zan dafa wani abu da duk zasu amincewa. Wato da fadukan shinkafa na musamman tare da magi.
An sarrafa Magista daga tataccen waken soya, albasa, kayan yajin armashi tare da kanamfari.
Lokacin cin abinci a shiga cikin lallama ko samkar a shigo.
Magista sanya duk abinci da lokacin su kasance na musamman da ba za a iya mantawa ba.
Lokacin jin daɗi sai Kivo Krima.
Idan na sha ko lokacin shan dari sai Kivo.
Zainab, ke da Alhaji duk sanda na waiwaya ina ganin ku tare ba a raba ku. Me zan ce? Ba ma gajiya da juna. To yaushe muke sa rana na uku? Ce abu game da na uku. Amma ni da Alhaji mun amince cewa jikina na bukatar lokaci. Shi yasa ina da 7790. 7790? 7790 daga Honey and Banana Connect. Ita ce amintaciyar hanyar samu bayananniyar shawara ba tare da tsangwama ba akan duk abin da ya shafi tazaran haihuwa. Ku tattauna da kwararrun ma'aikata don samun jagoranci game da bayar da tazaran haihuwa. Tafiyar ki ce, jikinki ne duk lokacin da kika zaba. Kira 7790 a yau ko ku aiko mana da sakon WhatsApp a 09097133400. Honey and Banana Connect. Ku bi wanda ya san hanya.
Ya ku masu ciniki, albishirinku gasar Magi Chicken Flavor ya sake dawowa.
A sayi Magi Chicken mai dunkule 2 kwaya 50 a samu garabasar guda 10 a kyauta.
Tabbas haka ne, idan kuma guda 10 aka saya, to za a samu garabasar guda 4 a kyauta.
Wato ƙarin ɗanɗano mai armashi, ƙarin nishaɗi, tare da more kuɗin ka yadda ya kamata.
A hanzarta maza a je shago mafi kusa domin sayan paketin kunshin gasar Magi Chicken Flavor kafin ya ƙare. Gasar na nan har sai kayan sun ƙare. Da ni da Magi, haɗuwa mai armashi.
The time is 10 o'clock.
This is Invicta 98.9 FM, Kaduna, Nigeria. I am Job Daniel with the news brief. Rescued pupils and teachers abducted from schools in Orire local government area may reunite with their families today, Monday, following their anticipated formal handover by the military to the Oyo State government. The victims are expected to be handed over after completing a 48-hour medical observation period. The governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, visited the rescued pupils and teachers on Saturday, disclosed that they would remain under medical care before their formal transfer to the state government. The handover is expected to pave the way for the victims' reunion with their families, after which the state government will begin the next phase of rehabilitation and reintegration. The national spokesperson of the Kwankwasiya movement, Habib Saleh Mohammed, has said President Bola Tinubu's decision to retain the Vice President Kashim Shettima as his running mate for the 2027 presidential elections does not give the All Progressives Congress any electoral advantage. According to him, the president under the current government will... According to him, Sheyi Tinubu under the current government wields more power than the Vice President.
He said this in an exclusive interview on Sunday while reacting to the president's announcement on Friday that the vice president would remain his running mate for the next election. The Wogosia spokesperson claimed that retaining the vice president was more about the president's convenience than electoral strategy, maintaining that the decision would not strengthen the APC's chances at the polls. From the foreign scene, 2 firefighting planes have been rushed to the Paris region to tackle a large wildfire south of the French capital. Eric Brocardi of France's National Federation of Firefighters said it was the first time firefighting planes have been sent up from the normally drier and hotter south of the country to tackle fires in the Paris region. The Paris region is suffering through its third heat wave this year during a summer in which temperature records have broken in several countries across Europe. And in sports, Nigeria's under-17 team, the Flamingos, have secured qualification for the 2026 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup after defeating neighbours Benin Republic women's under-17 team in the final round of qualifiers. The Flamingos sealed their place in the tournament after winning the second leg of the qualifier 5-3 at the Stade de Keg, progressing with an 8-5 aggregate victory. Nigeria would join host Morocco and other African representatives in the 24-team competition scheduled to hold from October 17th to November 7th, 2026. The Flamingos have been drawn in Group B alongside Poland, Puerto Rico, and Korea DPR. And that makes the news brief at 10. A major bulletin comes about midday. Good morning and have a victorious day as we continue with the program Perspectives.
Kana aiki kuma kana so ka ji sababbin labarai da yana faruwa a Najeriya, ka kunna rediyon ka kana ji Invicta 98.9 FM Kaduna.
Welcome back. Still with program Perspectives this morning, and we're moving towards, bringing the audience in to this conversation. And before we do that, just throw a question to our guest this morning, Edward John AUTA, Senior Special Assistant to Governor SANI of Kaduna State on Industrial Training and Development, Public Affairs Analyst and a historian too. All this feathers to his cap. With us in the studios today. Well, John, again, talking about the country as arranged and as it is. Opposition is crowned loud, shouting loud at the top of its voice that what this administration is doing is destroying opposition, and not trying to make opposition stand to give a voice. And in any democracy, it's been said that opposition must be there to be a check and balance to the present ruling party. For you, what the present administration has done, and of course all hands are pointing at the president, that he is the one planting the molds in all the parties, destroy them and not make them have focus. How does it, play out that in the democracy
this is laughable.
We do not have an opposition that can put a challenge to the president?
This is laughable, very, very laughable. In fact, let me use Kaduna because our listener will be more conversant with the politics of Kaduna State. The ADC conducted a primary election for the governorship. As we speak, there are 2 governorship candidates in Kaduna. The primary election result declared Right Honorable Isa Muhammad Ashulu, my former boss, as the winner of the primary election. The National Appeal Committee that was sent by the National Working Committee came to Kaduna. All the aspirants, not a single one, no, all the aspirants submitted petitions before that National Appeal Committee to say that they were dissatisfied with the outcome of the primaries because it was flawed, it was this, it was that. The petitions were reviewed, and the committee addressed a press conference to say that based on their findings, that Honorable Idris Shuaibu Mikati was the rightful winner of that primary election. So as we speak today, the two of them are parading themselves as candidates of the ADC. What is President Tinubu's own in that one? What is his interest? Who does he know among the two? Or was he the one that said the ADC should go and organize a flawed primary election? So people are just looking for excuses that they will use as an escape route from the reality of their greed, of their mismanagement of their own fortunes. So it's just convenient because President Tinubu is up there. People will just throw jabs at him. Just say, even when somebody is fetching water in his house and the rope of the fetcher cuts, they will say it's President Tinubu because it's convenient to just call President Tinubu's name. Please, the opposition parties should go and face their challenges. Peter Obi was in ADC. When he saw that there was crisis in ADC, and look at even the crisis at the national level, Nafi Ubala, I've said it time and time again, assuming it is even true that the president is interested in causing problems in the opposition party, are you supposed to give him that opportunity? If you know what you are doing, with the caliber of experienced people that are in that party, are they supposed to give him the opportunity? Now, when David Mark, Atiku and their group were coming to hijack the African Democratic Congress, they said Nafi Ubala was the, I don't know, was he national vice chairman or so? I can't remember the position. But they promised him that in the new ESCO, because what we had then was that they were going to share the positions 40-60. They will give the old bloc 40% of positions and the new bloc 60% of the positions. And for him to relinquish his own office, they promised him that they were going to make him the National Financial Secretary in the new arrangement. Was it President Tinubu that told Atiku, David Mark and Co to renege on that agreement? Unless if they are saying that even Atiku is working for Tinubu, David Mark is working for Tinubu. If they had given Nafi Ubala, if they had honored that agreement and made Nafi Ubala the National Financial Secretary of the ADC, would he be challenging them in court? Would he come out and form a parallel leadership? So how is Tinubu responsible for people who cannot honor a simple agreement? Nigerians should even be worried that people like that, who will promise somebody, they came and met him in his party, they promised him, relinquish your position, we'll give you a new one. They could not keep that promise. Is it their promises to Nigerians that they are even going to keep? So these are even the issues we should even be talking about. The integrity of those people. Obi inclusive. So when Obi now saw that the crisis was going to consume that party, or that, of course, Atiku had hijacked the party and he was not going to get anything, he ran away. He went to NDC, another party that was surviving on court order. If you go to INEC website, before he joined the party, national chairman, court order, national secretary, court order, whatever, court order. So how is President Tinubu responsible for that? Even in that party, simple thing, you apply to register for a party. You went and stole somebody's logo, allegedly. You stole another group's logo. And your attention was drawn to it. You refused. You went to court to go and say, court, mandate INEC, they must register us with that logo. And other concerns that were raised about their registration. Of course, INEC as an impartial arbiter decided to register them. The owners of that logo went to court. They obtained judgment now and they say, okay, look, that judgment was passed in error and that everybody should revert to status quo. And then of course, the easy target is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. They say, because President Tinubu is seeking a second term, he is the one that is he the one that told Seriake and co not to think deep, not to, see the dangers ahead and avoid them. What is in a logo that you will not develop another one? So these are the issues. In the PDP, this crisis of the PDP started since 2019. Was it Tinubu who told Atiku, in 2022, Atiku, after emerging as a presidential candidate of the PDP, by himself set up a committee, I think a 17-man committee or so, to select a running mate for him. Was it Tinubu that advised him to do that? When he set up the committee, 14 out of the 17 members recommended or voted for Wike to be his running mate. Was it Tinubu that said he should throw away the report of that committee and pick Okowa? That was the genesis of the crisis. So when he threw away that thing and picked Okowa, Wike started kicking. Wike and his group started kicking. I said, this man is not an honorable man. You set up a committee and say, why did you set up the committee if you knew you are not going to make use of the report of that committee? Committee of eminent party men and women that time. Was it Tinubu? And then when Wike came, he said, okay, since you say I cannot trust you people, remove the national chairman and return the chairmanship to the South. He gave them certain conditions. Was it Tinubu that said, don't accept those conditions? We were in the PDP. So nobody can come and tell us. We have information. Look, the biggest challenge that is facing the opposition today is greed, is selfishness, and all pecuniary, mundane issues. People collecting, people are greedy. People are putting their personal ambition above the collective interest of their party and the collective interest of Nigerians. It has nothing to do with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So they should go and sanitize their houses. They should leave President Tinubu alone. President Tinubu is focused on delivering good governance to Nigeria and Nigerians. And we're beginning to see the results. And I can assure you, let them continue to be crying like little children. Tinubu and APC will whip them again in 2027. They have not learned their lessons. Let them go there. Let them keep whining like small children there. They'll be whipped. So right, this is the reality.
Okay, so we'll bring in the audience here. Let's get your thoughts too on all that has been put across to us this morning on the program Perspectives. Numbers to call to be part of this conversation would be on 081 40,000 989, 081 40,000 989, or 070 87 989. 070-87-800-989. We're streaming with this program live. Join us on our Facebook page, Invicta 98.9. Drop your comments there to bring them all to our guests this morning. And taking your calls now. Hello, good morning. Sorry.
You can't wait and then come down.
Sorry, this line is not just audible enough, so just call back again. Stay away from your radio too. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Okay. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Toyin Alabi.
Yes, good morning. Your name or where you're calling from?
Thank you very much. My name is Musa Bala. I'm calling from Kaduna.
Okay, Musa, let's get you.
Yes, I welcome your guest to the studio. Let me start by congratulating him to be one of the spokesperson of Kaduna State Governor. But I want to remind him that even the Kaduna State Governor don't have any record to challenge former governor's record in Kaduna State. He has said it himself. We have all the record of what Ubasani says about El Rufai, except if his employee in the name of John AUTA will tell us that his current principal was lying about what he said about El-Rufai. But so long what he said is there, not even himself have no right to talk down on El-Rufai. The development idea for everybody to see. And as your guest will finish his program, I will wish him a very smooth ride on New Makama Street, that he cannot tell me any road in Kaduna that his principal have done like that one. And on the issue of development, devolution, we not only Kaduna State, the entire country are very, very grateful about the demolition threat of Gonungora. Because since when we issued that demolition threat, the killing of innocent people all over part of the country, no more blocking of road to be killing people in that area. And as for Oyo, I congratulate them. The president promised to rescue them. He rescued them. But when he went to Plateau State, he promised that it will not happen. It happened again. Why is it so? And Tinubu said on the issue of IMF have clearly showed that more than 130 million are in poverty during Tinubu. And at the same time, 34 million are in acute poverty. So there is no how somebody will come and change the record for today. Subsidy removal, of course, is not the problem. What did you do with the subsidy removal? You remove subsidy, you borrow again to question the effect of subsidy removal. What kind of a thing is that? I want to ask your guest, when will his principal finish implementing 2024 budget? Not to talk of 2025, not to talk of 2026, but when will he finish implementing that budget? As far as Nigeria is concerned, the issue of Tinubu has become a serious trouble in our country. He talked about inclusion. How can you tell me that Tinubu have inclusion when the entire economic system of Nigeria are all Yorubas? It has never happened this way. The people that benefited or talk about insecurity before, they are now telling us that Muslim ticket is not the game. And well, thank God that El-Rufai have exposed the conflict merchant that have been troubling Kaduna State for the past 40 years before he came. And when he came, he exposed them. We knew how they use Muslim ticket to frustrate Balabantes to the extent that he wanted to resign before that time. But now they are the same people singing praises because they are within the corridor of power. The question I want to ask you, I guess, lastly, Christopher Musa, that he has been talking about, the son of Southern Kaduna State. We saw him visiting Oyo adopted victim. And there are a lot of people adopted in Southern Kaduna today that he has never visited and he has never come. Is he a national defense minister for one side and not one side? I hope your guest will answer me. Good morning.
Musa Bala, thank you. All right, still we'll squeeze in one or two calls and then we'll come to our guests. And right, here's this. Hello, good morning.
Thank you. I don't know what took me off. I say, honestly, the opposition, they don't stand any better chance. Keep on telling the president, let him just do the right thing. Insecurity, hunger, and hardship, he should tackle it. 2027 will be hot for him. He promised us that I was expecting him to hit the ground running. But every day, excuses here, there. Edward, you should calm down. We know everybody is feeling it. But I'm so stubbornly behind Tinubu. See that he overcome that issue of insecurity. What the general not do, he can do. He has done it. For rescuing those children in Oyo, congratulations to him, but he should do more.
Okay,
all
cool.
Those that are captive, he should keep those that adopted them and bring them out. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you, Kure. All right, here's this one. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good name, where you're calling from.
Yeah, my name is Chief Arel.
All right.
Yeah, I have listened to your guest very attentively. But there are some questions I want to ask him. Today, we heard that Serap are seeing the federal government of 800 billion transferred to Bola Tinubu campaign fund. How far is it true? Then he talked about Shetima. Shetima happened to be the vice president. Today, people are criticizing Bola Tinubu of the effort he made in rescuing the Oyo children. Now I ask a pertinent question. What is the effort of Shetima? Taking into consideration that Leah Sharibu is still at large. We don't know where Sharibu is. And his role in the Chibok death, up till now, Shetima has not declared his role in Chibok death. During Jonathan regime, it was alleged the role that Shetima played was unpalatable. And today he is the vice president. And your guest again talk about Buhari regime, the last regime. I ask a pertinent question. Is APC based on individuality? Because it looks as if it is not a political party. We are talking of regime as if it is a different political party. You see, I want to talk about the Oyo. You see, in my own opinion, it looks as if the press in the Southwest are very powerful. They place Bola Tinubu on his toes. But when it happened to the North, in my own opinion, the North were sleeping. The North were sleeping. They were looking at this as normal. And they were not even protesting. They were not doing anything about it. But the Southwest, they rose to the occasion. Women, men, children, everybody was concerned. And in my own opinion, it looks as if in the North, the bandits are living among them and they don't want to figure them out. And they keep on telling the whole world that they are repentant terrorists. How long will they be repentant terrorists when they are killing people? God bless our country, Nigeria.
All right, Chief. Okay, thank you on that. Well, Edward.
Well, let me start with Chief Areo. It is ridiculous for anybody to try to accuse Kashim Shettima of having a hand in the insecurity that bedeviled his state while he was governor of Borno State. It is akin to also accusing the Oyo state governor Sheyi Makinde today of having a hand in the abduction of the Orire children. So I think I want to call on Nigerians to refrain from making such kinds of dangerous assumptions. It does not help our cause for a lasting security in this country. Dropping names of prominent people simply because they are in power or for political reasons, will serve very little in solving the situation. Yes, I sympathize with Leah Sharibu, with her family, and everybody that is under captivity in this country, and we pray that government should be able to rescue them using our security agencies. So I don't think it is an issue that we should even devote so much time to talk about. Vice President Kashim Shettima is a man of impeccable character, a man of integrity, is a patriot, a great lover of this country, deeply sensitive to the issues that affect us, and also contributing his own quota in supporting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to see that they succeed. There is no success under this administration that you will talk about that you will say Kashim Shettima is not part of it. It is one ticket, it is a joint ticket, and it is together that they are doing this work. I agree with him to some extent that, of course, the northern populace should see this problem more as our problem rather than a problem of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, by supporting government, by working in concert with the government to see that we rid our communities of this bandit. Because, of course, these bandits get their supplies from markets within northern Nigeria. They live with us, so communities should be able to provide intelligence, collaborate with security agencies so that this can be resolved. Secondly, on the issue of Musa Bala, talking about the legacies of Malam Nasir El-Rufai. Of course, you can never have a government that will just come and say it has done nothing. All right? Every government, no matter how bad, no matter how terrible a government is, you'll be able to point at one thing or the other that the government was able to do. But when you want to rate the government holistically, You want to read the Nasir El-Rufai government in Kaduna State. The legacy of Madam Nasir El-Rufai is the legacy of pain, legacy of demolition, legacy of bloodshed, legacy of exploitation, of exclusion. When people on the streets want to talk about El-Rufai, they don't talk about those selective road projects that he did. People talk about how those other policies, the mass and arbitrary sack of workers affected the populace of Kaduna State. People talk about how his reckless handling of the security situation led to loss of lives, lack of empathy. People are killed, and then he will come out and recklessly say it is a reprisal attack. He will blame the victims. So those are the things that define, or these are the things that define the El-Rufai era in Kaduna State. Threats, intimidation, demolitions, and what have you. So Musa Bala, this is what we are saying. A vast majority of the people of Kaduna State are not saying that, of course, El-Rufai didn't do anything. He even collected billions of naira and cannot account for them. That is why he's being held, at the ICPC today. The Kaduna House of Assembly said under his watch, over 423 billion naira could not be accounted for, either lost into thin air or misappropriated or mismanaged, whatever word you want to use it. So those are the legacies, or these are the legacies of Malam Nasir El-Rufai that the people of Kaduna State are complaining, and which the present administration is correcting. All right. For the man that said whether APC is not one party, look, even in a house, everybody knows his mother's room. We can be members of the same family, but everybody knows his mother's room. So even though we are APC, what we are saying is simple. Of course, you cannot hold Governor Obasani accountable for the misdeeds of his predecessor. Neither can you hold President Tinubu accountable for the misdeeds of his predecessor. And you cannot also hold their successor, those that will succeed them, because APC is here to stay. You cannot also hold their successor accountable for whatever it is that they may do that is wrong. Okay. So this is the reality about governance. But the bottom line is that in 2027, a vast majority of the people of this country and Kaduna State are with the APC, they are with the president, and they are with our inclusive governor, and nothing short of victory is there for the APC.
Edward John AUTA, thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And that will just be about the size of it on the program Perspectives this morning. Edward John AUTA, our guest this morning, Senior Special Assistant to Governor Obasani, and on industrial training and development, with another feather of being a historian and a public affairs analyst. He's been our guest this morning. Job Daniels, thank you for connecting us with the people. We'll come back with Perspectives, House of Version, tomorrow. Have a good day.
Invicta. Wake up!
God help us all.
Wake up and be victorious.
Tabdi. Wato a duk lokacin da muka haɗu a dandalin tattaunawar iyalinmu sai an samu matsala.